Alright, so I was in Mizuko, and the next mission after crossing the river on the ferry and crossing the border into Peru from Brazil is to get up to the top of the Mounties. The mountain. The Andes. Mounties is like a Canadian thing. It's a cross between Andes and mountains, working it, to get up to the top of the Andes to go see Seth in Cusco. But as I told you, there was a detour. I couldn't go directly to Cusco, so I had to take the route that was to Juliaca. But I was looking for ways to not have to go all the way down to Juliaca in order to get to this place, Sicuani. That was my next destination that I was going to stay in before meeting Seth in Cusco. So to give you an idea of this, Mizuko has an elevation of 352 meters, so slightly less than Kamloops. It's about 1,150 feet. The place where I peaked out on the drive was 4,872 meters, or 16,000 feet. And you do that climb in 200 kilometers, which is almost nothing. So we're talking a lot of switchbacks here, and some tunnels as well, which are in these videos here. Unfortunately, I don't have any videos of the switchbacks, because my concern was like, is my car going to make it? So I wasn't really filming, and actually it gets pretty cold. Like when I finally topped out of the switchbacks to kind of the plateau level, it was freezing. There was a toll booth. I was like, how cold is it? And he's like, it's like 3 degrees Celsius. So I was like coming from the jungle, like Brazil mode, like minimum 20 degrees Celsius. Now I'm at like 3 degrees Celsius up at this elevation. And one of the coolest things actually on the route was when I got up on the plateau, there was this little town there, and I actually pulled over and went back to go film it because the elevation was 4,500 meters. I asked one of the locals, 4,500 meters elevation. It's like basically like 15,000 feet or something like that. And these kids were playing soccer up there. Like it was just like, wow, man. Like they say you have like 40% of the amount of oxygen up there as you would at sea level. But anyway, I'm not going to comment on all those scientific terms. But like soccer at 4,500 meters is gangster. And I was just like, wow, like kudos to you, dudes. Anyway, so continued on, and then there's a video of me here hitting that 4,872 meter elevation. And apparently that's the second highest paved road in South America, and the highest one's only like another 100 meters higher than that. So anyway, so my car was struggling a bit at that height because there's not a lot of oxygen for the combustion in the engine, but it made it. And then when I got down a little bit lower, still very high elevation, but it got down a little bit lower, it was like that golden landscape, and I was like, oh man, I am so glad to be out of the jungle. Because like, jungle's nice, but it's not my zone, dude. I need like open spaces, lots of sky. So it's so great to be back in the Golden Lands. And as I was driving, I pulled over at one point to ask about directions, because I'd never taken this route before, and it's not like the main route to get to Cusco. It's a detour route, right? So I wasn't quite sure to make a left here, to make a right here. So I pulled over at one part to talk to the people who were on the side of the road, and like a van. And apparently what had happened is their van or bus had broken down. So they said, yo, can we hitchhike with you, because we're trying to get to the next village. And like on this trip, I like never picked up hitchhikers. Just out of principle, like I never wanted to get jacked. I didn't want to get robbed. But these dudes like look pretty legit. So I was like, yo, hop in. And they didn't have much room in the car, but there's two of them that fit in. And so I was talking with them. Now we're in Spanish, so I can actually communicate. Whereas in Brazil it was Portuguese, which was almost impossible to communicate. So back in, able to communicate with people. And that was super cool. And one of them actually showed me like a shortcut that was faster than if I would have followed what I had on the maps to get to Sicuani. So anyway, so I get to Sicuani, and it's like a cool hotel. Kind of like, not expensive, but like for people who do kind of the overlanding type thing with their own vehicles, right? So get to the hotel, park the car, and then go to get some dinner. And I kind of like walk down the streets, like the main strip of town. Sicuani's like super like Andean mode, not too touristy at all, because it's not Cusco, it's kind of off the path. And then I like went towards like the downtown market area to get dinner, and I crossed this like creek or river thing, and there's like no city lights. And then get to the market area, it's like a gong show, as all market areas are in Peru, like just like tons of little vendors trying to sell things. And I go to a restaurant, like one of these like family kind of restaurant things, and I like talked to the kids, and I was like, yo, I want like probably 2 dinners, like the same thing but twice. And they were like, what? Like they just didn't understand, because there it's like they serve you your soup and your meal, and that's easily enough for anyone. But I was like, no, like I'm in altitude and I'm like super skinny, and I should probably eat 2 dinners. So I like ate the first one, and they're all weirded out because like I wait for the meal. I don't eat the soup right away. I wait for the meal, and then I like dump the whole meal into the soup. So it's just like this like stew. And they're all like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, why didn't he eat his soup first like everyone else? And also I wouldn't drink the drink that they gave me because like I don't trust the water up there for my stomach, and I have to be very careful. On the way down, I got the traveler's bug like twice in the mountain land, so I was like, no, can't do it with water. Fortunately, the soup, the water's boiled, hopefully. So anyway, then I get my second round of dinner. As I'm finishing it, the two teenage boys who are working in this like family restaurant come over to this kind of like find out where I'm from and what my story is, because I'm like super weird, but I can speak Spanish, so we're talking, and they were like, just like, oh man, they're like what a weirdo, like this guy. But it was just like whatever. But as I was talking to them, my stomach just like, I was like, dude, I'm gonna like throw up and crap my pants at the same time right now. I was like, oh god, like I thought right away, like, okay, I just caught another bug. But I think it was just the altitude, like literally coming from like jungle, like sea level up to like altitude in a day, and then like eating in my body, being like, what the hell is going on? Because by the time I got back to my hotel room, like my stomach was okay, and I was sure I was like destroyed. Like the feelings I had in my stomach at that moment, I was like, it's over. But somehow it wasn't. So I get back to the hotel, all good, and then next day I have to go meet up with Seth in Cusco. That's where he was staying. And getting to Cusco was okay, but once you get into Cusco, the roads were like pretty crappy, and I was like worried I might like screw up my car on some of the speed bumps or something like that. And I kind of thought I might be lost, but I wasn't. I got to the spot, and here's a picture of like Seth's first sighting of me, where we agreed to meet. Again, I don't have data on my phone, so we had to plan a spot in advance. So pick him up, and that was sort of on the outskirts of Cusco, near to the outskirts, leaving the city, heading for Ollantaytambo. So we went there, and en route, Seth was loving the landscape, and we also ran into this girl who, and her mom, who were selling like llama wool and all these products. There's a cool photo of that girl there with like the llama. It was like awesome, like super cool. And there's some videos of us driving as well, like through the mountains. Gorgeous landscape, like I say. Seth was loving it. It was super cool. I'd been to Ollantaytambo before, but I'd never been to Machu Picchu. So I thought it was like too touristy. Now we just do the Sacred Valley. But Seth wanted to hit Machu Picchu, so we agreed to do that. So we get to Ollantaytambo and park the car there, and then jump in the train to get to Agua Calientes, which is the village at the bottom of Machu Picchu. And the train was at night, which was unfortunate because like we heard that the train ride would be amazing during the day once we were on the train, but the cheapest one was at night or whatever. So we get there to Agua Calientes, and just get to the hotel, which was super hard to find because it's like literally like, if you could imagine the city in Asia where they like bought Gizmo for the Gremlins, like that's what it was like. And I have a video like the next morning of like kind of to give you an idea of like the Gizmo Japanese like or Chinese or whatever it was vibe that was existing in this Aguas Calientes village that was at the foot of Machu Picchu. So we couldn't do the hike the first day because it was all sold out. Like, which basically Machu Picchu now is like Disneyland, so you have to book all this stuff in advance. So the first day we just did this like hike up this waterfall and got some food, and then at night we went to like the thermal hot springs, which was cool. And then the next day we did our hike, and so we decided to take the bus up to the village, like the ruins of Machu Picchu, and then do the hike up the mountain that you can overlook it from on foot. And I was sort of like, because my quads they were still like destroyed from that tower that I had walked up in Puerto Maldonado, my first city in Peru. So I was like, dude, this hike's gonna be interesting. It's altitude and climbing, but I was totally fine. Like I was killing it. So we got to the top, no problem. Sweaty, but no problem. And everyone was like, you guys must be runners, because we had like our shirts off, not to like flex, but just like we were going pretty quick, much faster than other people, so we were sweaty or whatever. And some amazing views up there. From up there, like you can see how steep the drop off is in that area, like how steep the mountains are. I'm showing you a video of that right now, I think, and we could also see like the ruins below or whatever. So after a short bit up there, we hiked down to the ruins and then have some video and some pictures in the ruins there. And that's sort of more Disneyland when you're in the ruins, like so many people there. And then after that, we decided to hike down from there, the route that the bus had brought us up. We decided to hike it down, so we did that and hit up some like museum of Machu Picchu. And then it started to pour, and we headed back to town and just like ate and drank, and like it was pretty good, like whatever. And then we caught the train back to Ollantaytambo to spend the night there in a hotel. And again, the train was at night, so we couldn't see the landscape, but whatever. Hotel in Ollantaytambo was all right, no problems. And then we're leaving town in the morning, and the car's making this rattling noise because it's like cobblestone roads. I'm like, oh man, like what's going on with the car? Hopefully nothing serious. But it turned out to be nothing. So I get to Cusco, Seth, drop him off at the airport, and then continue on my way to Abancay. And on the way to Abancay, there's like many valleys and things like this. You're still in the Andes. But the valley before you get into the Abancay Valley was like the best place on earth. I was like, man, this is like the best landscape ever. It's like right near the border of Cusco province and the Apurimac province. But it's an amazing landscape there. Anyway, heading into Abancay, which I'd been to before in February of 2015. So this was March like 9th. I think I'd been there February 27th, 2015, so like over 4 years ago. I'd been in that city, but not the same hotel. So I'm trying to search for the hotel in Abancay, can't find it, and end up like parking on a downhill, and then I couldn't put my car in reverse, and there was a car in front of me, so I was super scared, like I was going to crash into the car in front of me, but somehow got it worked out, and then got to the hotel. And the parking for the hotel was in this other building. It was like the grandma of the lady who owned the hotel. And there was like, my car's tiny, and there was like no room for my car, and there was just like all this like carts and things and like storage space, but got it in. And then after that, went out for dinner, just like walked around or whatever. And I don't have any photos of that. I have like a church photo or something like that, but it was just the like sort of basic small town, and nothing too exciting. Went back to the hotel, and then the next spot would be Puquio, which I'd stayed in before as well on the way down to Argentina. It's a super awesome little tiny city. And there's like these like sort of awesome like round smooth rocks as you're coming down into Puquio. And I tried to take a video of it, but then like right then there was like a cop truck there, like and actually they flagged me over, so I had to hide my phone, like so I couldn't get the video of the rocks, which is one thing. But then he pulled me over because like I had foreign plates or whatever. No problem, but he just wanted to check the car. And then I was down into Puquio, and getting into Puquio, like I love the city, but really annoying speed bumps that's like almost impossible to go over in your car inside the village. Anyway, the hotel I stayed in was the hotel I stayed in 2015, and the square there is like super nice. I got a little video of that. But then later on went out for dinner. It was like super foggy, and yeah, got my food, no big deal. Headed back to the hotel, got some sleep, and in the morning I had to do some scanning and photocopying for the upcoming shipping job I was going to try to do out of Lima to get the car home to North America. So I was working on that as well.